What is up guys, Karotaka here, and today I'm here with another Digimon deck profile. Today we'll be going over the new DigiPolice deck from BT-15. So with the support from BT-15, the deck is a little bit different from the D-Brigade DigiPolice deck that we've had before, but I think in this current format, this particular build is probably better because the old deck can't really out-aggro the really fast decks in the current format. So I think going more focused towards a control build is the correct way to go for the deck. I'll explain that a bit later, but let's go right into the deck. So we have 4 of the Ryudamon from BT-15. So whenever on your opponent's turn, when a Digimon is active, it's turn active, you can draw a card. So this works for any card in the field. So if you reboot, you can draw. If your opponent has a Digimon at the end of the spend, you can draw. So very solid draw engine. I think this is a pretty solid talent to have for the deck. So yeah, we're running 4 Ryudamons. Next, we also have, for the level 6s, we're running 4 of the Ryudamon. So Ryudamon is the new boss monster, for one of the new boss monsters, or actually it is the new card that is the boss monster, but it's not your main win con, but it is a pretty nice new addition to the deck in terms of being able to control your opponent's board. So first up, it's a blocker, and this can digivolve off DigiPolice and X antibody cards for 4 costs, so not too important for this build because everything is black, so it's pretty much the same cost. But it is a blocker, and on evolution, if you have a DigiPolice card tamer in this card's source, you can return one of your opponent's rested Digimon or tamer to the bottom of your deck. And on both players' turn, when this card is rested, you can play a DigiPolice or a Beast Dragon trait card with 5,000 power or less and play it without paying its cost. So overall, it's pretty solid for helping you build your board and just getting some removal. And I think it's a pretty great card just because you can activate it on your opponent's turn as well, so you can potentially slap down another blocker if you need it. So yeah, 3 of those. For the offensive, we're running 3 of the Digimons. On Digivolution, you can delete up to a total of 7 cost. So you can add it up like a 3 and a 4 or something if you want, or just a 7 if you need. And on your opponent's turn, all your D-Brigade cards get blocker. And on your end of your turn, you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck and play a D-Brigade or a DigiPolice card that is 7 cost, or up to a total of 7 costs, and trash the rest. So if you see a 3 cost and a 3 cost and a 4 cost, you can slap both of them down and build up your board that way. So still a very solid card to have. And yeah, mainly you're using this to build up your army, while as this card is used to kind of control your opponent's board state. But this one does also help you pumping out units. So they're both really good level 6. Next, for the level 5s, we're running 4 of the new Ryudamon. When an effect suspends another Digimon or tamer, if this card has a tamer with DigiPolice in its traits in its source, you can digivolve this card into a Beast Dragon or a DigiPolice card from your hand without paying its cost. And the inherent skill is when this card suspends another Digimon or tamer, or when an effect suspends another Digimon or tamer, you can unsuspend one of your Digimon with Beast Dragon or DigiPolice in its trait. So pretty decent. Next, we are also be running 3 of the Ryudamons. So this is here just because it is a DigiPolice and a D-Brigade, so it works with the deck pretty well. On play and on evolution, you'll be able to look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and then you can play a 4 cost or less D-Brigade / DigiPolice and trash the rest. And on for hair skill, on both players' turn, whenever one of your other Digimons are deleted, you can look at the top 3 cards and play a Commandramon. So just keeping up your defenses, pretty solid. As long as you have this on your field and you use the block, you can pretty much replenish another one. So it's still got the Commandramon thing going, but it's just less focused on that right now. Next, for the level 4s, we're running 4 of the Digimon. So it's another blocker, and you can rest my opponent's Digimon. And then if this card has a DigiPolice tamer in its source, that Digimon cannot unsuspend during the active phase. So pretty solid stun. And the inherent ability lets you, when this card becomes suspended, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon or tamers with a pay cost of less than or equal to this Digimon. So just a lot of resting on your opponent's side, so pretty good for that. And we're also running 4 of the High Commandramon, so on attack you can look at the top 3 and play a D-Brigade / DigiPolice card. That's 3 costs or less. So I think he's still really good. He's also really good for his inherent ability to kind of prevent leaving play for 1 turn. So the inherent skill is once per turn during all turns, when this Digimon would leave the battle area, other than by your card effect, by deleting one of your other Digimon with D-Brigade, you can prevent it from leaving play. So keep in mind, it has to be D-Brigade and not DigiPolice. So you can't use the Ryudamon line to substitute, but it's still pretty solid because we're still running a decent number of D-Brigade cards in this deck. Next, for the last level 4, we're running 4 of the Numemons, just so we can get Sasuke on the field for cheap. And giving Rush, it helps you win games sometimes, so it's a very solid card. And now moving on to level 3s, we are going to be running 4 of the new good boy, Ryudamon. So at the beginning of your main phase, you'll be able to tuck a what's your face? Yulin. Yes, you can tuck a Yulin from your hand to its source, and then you'll be able to get immunity for 1 turn. And then everyone opens turn. Fuck. Next, for the level 3s, we are going to be running 4 Ryudamon for the new good boy. So the effect is, start your main phase by playing 1 Yulin from your hand, as this card's Digimon Force. You can give it a temporary immunity until your opponent's turn. So this card is unaffected by opponent's Digimon until the end of its turn. It is still susceptible to option cards, so be careful of that because there are still Belsamon decks out there. But getting some sort of protection is nice. And when this Digimon becomes suspended, you can suspend one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers with a play cost of less than a Digimon. So it's pretty much the same as the Ryudamon. But mainly you're here so you can get your Yulin into its source, and then you can pull Yulin back out at the end of turn so you can have a memory setter if you don't have one already. So this deck is actually pretty cost efficient because you're able to get a lot of Tamers out for free that way, and that will help you mitigate some of the other costs that you have to pay, because there are a lot of really fast decks in this current format, and if you have to hard cast some of your Tamers, it is going to be pretty expensive. So cheating out Tamers whenever you can is very nice. Next, we're running 4 of the Commandramon. So this is just your searcher on play, look at top 5, grab a D-Brigade / DigiPolice card to your hand, and put the rest at the top or bottom. And then the inherent skill is the same as High Commandramon. It's just a temporary. So once per turn, you can prevent leaving play by doing something else, another D-Brigade card. So pretty good. And we're also running 4 of the Commandramon from BT-4. We're running this one because when it's deleted, you can potentially replace it with another Commandramon. So this will give you fuel for your costs for your High Commandramon and your Commandramon. And you can also use this as blockers. So they're pretty good. But if you want to run something else, you can. You can run some other type of Commandramon if you want. Some people like running the decoy one just to give a little bit more extra protection. Some people also like to run the blocker one in case you don't have the enough blockers on the board, but that's usually not the case. So I personally like these substitute ones, but it's really up to you guys. So for the Tamers, we are running 4 of these Yulins. Yulin is here as your memory setter, but it also can mind link to DigiPolice or X antibody cards, and it gives you Alliance and Reboot. So Alliance is very good for this deck because you can just swing for bigger numbers and bigger security checks, even if you freshly played a Digimon on the board. So I think it's really solid with that. And yeah, just 4 Yulins. And we're also running 3 Satskis. Satsuki gives you jamming as well as Reboot, so pretty solid as well, but most of the time you want to use it for your Numemon last hits. And if not, you can just use it to chip down your opponent's security. And the ability to get extra memory just by your opponent having a Digimon on board is also very nice. So if you don't need the Reboot, just pull her back out at the end of her turn so that you can get the memory back in case your opponent kills them on their turn, because that does happen. So be careful of when you want to pull the tamers out of the source, because it might cost you the game if you pull it out at the wrong time. So next, we're running 2 Takumis from BT-5. We're running Takumi because if you look at the Ryudamon, if you evolve like this, and then since you evolve, you can use your Takumi to rest it, and then since it rested by its own effect, you can proc the Ryudamon's ability to digivolve into a Digimon or a Ryudamon, and that will help you skip step, because you can use this ability. You can activate this ability off Alliance, but if you don't have another Digimon on the board, it kind of slows you down. So having Takumi on the board just helps you guarantee your evolution, which is really nice. And yeah, it's a nice little card that I am running in this deck, but I'm not running too many of him because he is really just useful for the situation of your Ryudamon. But as a 2 cost to play it, I think it's pretty good. We aren't running any training cards in this deck because of the Ryudamon you can Digivolve for free. So when you do that, the extra memory from well, they're not extra memory. The cost reduction doesn't really help. Instead, we're running 4 of the black memory boosts, so you can get memory instead of reducing cost, which is more important when you are, doing this, because if you have this on the board already, you can just remove that and just slap down a Takumi, and then when you Digivolve into the Ryudamon, you can go into the level 6 as well. So I think Black Memory Boost is better for this deck, but if you guys want to run the trainings, that is perfectly fine. Before I was running 2-2, but I decided to cut those out and just run 4 Memory Boost, because I have the Takumis here to kind of memory stuck my opponent if I need a 2 cost. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this deck though. It's a really fun deck to play, and currently in this format, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, just Garurumon decks and the Pokemon decks are just really, really fast. So you want to have a deck that can help you build up blockers, block your opponent, and then get some removals. And then instead of just going all out and attacking with your board, I think building up a wall and then just, if you need to attack with those smaller Digimon is kind of the play for this deck. Going slow, and then if you need to do two checks, 2 or 3 checks, or 2 checks, or 1 check and then go for fatal, I think it's fine with the Numamon. But overall, this deck is very fun to play, and I do like this more than the Rush version of the deck in BT-14. I think the Ryudamon line does add a lot of extra plays that this deck can do. So yeah, overall, pretty fun. I think there is still more room for this deck to get better. So we'll see the better players experiment more with this deck and see how they can kind of grow this deck even more. But as of now, I think this is week 2 of BT-15. This is kind of the deck that I have for the DigiPolice. But yeah, that's pretty much it for you guys. This is Karataku. If you guys want to support the channel, feel free to use the affiliate links down below. But this is Karataku, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!